Hey everybody, Seth with Everyman Prepping here, and I want to talk to you about the cold Arctic blast, the polar vortex air that's coming down through from Canada all the way into the southern states into Texas over the next week or so, and go through some stuff to make sure you're prepared, make sure you have everything you need to. We'll go through a quick article, look at some cold weather maps. You'll be able to see, are you in the path of this cold polar vortex? How cold is it going to get where your area is at? Are they predicting? Just to make sure you have everything you need, or if you need to go out, you can get it now so you and your family can stay warm during this time, especially in the case of power loss due to either the grid failing like they had in Texas, or ice storms and they take down power lines, or just other things that cause the grid to go down. How can you stay warm? So let's get into the article really quick here. As you see, that it's titled, "Will Texas Power Grid Survive Next Week's Polar Vortex?" I don't want to just focus on like Texas and will it survive or not, but we're going to go through this really quick. It's more of a reminder, everybody in the path of this, to make sure you are ready. Let's see. So it says here that the Service Climate Protection Center forecasts extreme cold weather across the heart of the country this weekend and into next week. Here's one map that they have here showing the cold weather as it plunges down, like I said, down into Texas and the south. I prefer looking at this model here. This is the GFS model, the 2-meter air temperature. And this is Tuesday of next week on the 16th, as it says up top here, you can read. And it looks like this is going to be the coldest day. And as we hear, we got some single digits in northern Texas, low double digits everywhere else. Into Tennessee, it's going to be pretty cold, and other southern states. Of course, Midwest, very cold. A little more used to it up there. They know what to expect, and they can already plan for it. But doesn't mean someone hasn't moved there recently, or someone else is just behind the power curve and hasn't really prepared this year. So that's why we're going through this. And especially the people in the South, maybe you're not used to it, you're not ready for it. Let's make sure you have everything, or you thought of everything, so it won't be an issue when it comes down. If we go forward and backwards a few days, you'll see after Tuesday, as we go forward here in time, Wednesday it starts warming up. And then, here we are by late Wednesday. It's in the 40s in the South, and it's pretty much over. And then if I go backwards, we'll go back here to Tuesday, and we'll see that earlier Tuesday, or late Tuesday night, still cold, and Monday pretty darn cold, and Sunday's when it really starts getting cold. So it looks like after this weekend is when the cold is going to hit and really start affecting things. And then they talk about here that Texas is going to hit hard. I think Texas is going to be okay. ERCOT is the energy provider down there. And they said this is going to be their first major test of this year, probably first major test since that failed the last time. They say they're ready for it. If you're in Texas, just make sure you're ready for it to fail, just in case something happens. Now, what can we do to prepare for this? What can we do to make sure that we have? So I got a little checklist to go through here. You can follow along, see if you miss anything out here. If you want to add something, put it in the comments below. Write any comments you want, share this video, subscribe to the channel, all that great YouTube stuff. I really appreciate everything you do. And for this video too, people that you think might not be quite prepared enough and they need, some reminders what they need to do. But let's start off here. So one thing you can always do is in a central room in your house or apartment or townhome or wherever you live, is put up a tent inside the house. So the tent will help kind of consolidate heat people have from their body heat. 2 or 3 people, 4 people sleeping in there. Kids love sleeping in tents. They love the idea of tenting inside the house. They'll probably won't be paying attention to how cold they are as much if they're having fun because they're camping inside the house. While you're in that tent, get out the wool blankets, get out the wool socks, the wool hats, all that stuff. Wool is great. I love wool blankets. Have multiple wool blankets. They're great for wrapping it around you. They're great insulators. They're great for sleeping, all that stuff. I love wool blankets, very high in wool blankets. Keep them in your cars, all that good stuff. Now, sleeping bag. If you have an extreme cold weather sleeping bag for camping, get that thing out and get it ready. You can put it on your bed. You can put it in the tent you just set up. Sleeping bags are great. You can wear that wool cap as you go to sleep. Inside your sleeping bag, put a wool blanket on top. You're going to be nice and toasty. Make sure you have plenty of candles. Not just for light in case power goes off, because I'm sure you have flashlights and all that good stuff, but they produce a little heat as well. Just make sure you have fire extinguisher ready in case of fire, and make sure you're doing all the safety precautions with a flame out. You can have a tea light candle heater if you can't afford anything else. They do produce a little heat, and they will help you stay a little bit warm. If you have the ability to get more stuff, why not get something like a Mr. Buddy heater? They run off the propane. Now there's many other brands out there besides Mr. Buddy. Whatever one you like. I have some Mr. Buddy heaters, like the one you see here. But whatever you have will work. Now they run off 1 pound propane. They can run off the 20-pound propane tanks if you have the proper hose connections. Just make sure you get them now. If you need tanks refilled, do it now. If you need the 1 pounders, get them. Get extra 20-pound tanks. Whatever you need to do, because most likely they have already run out, or they're going to in the stores, or you have to drive further to get it. So stock up now on your propane. And as a safety thing, whenever you're burning flames, propane, or anything inside the house, got to have your carbon monoxide detectors. And you're going to have more than one, because as we all know, 2 is 1 and 1 is none, especially in safety. So have a couple carbon monoxide detectors. Have them in that tent you're in, or in the room that you're in, or wherever you're sleeping. Just have them out, ready to go, monitoring it, because we don't want a tragic accident to happen while we're trying to stay warm. Now, this also applies if you just have a fireplace. You still want those CO detectors. And that's the next thing on the list. If you have a fireplace, make sure it's ready to go. The flue's cleaned out. It's not a fire hazard. It's ready to go. You have the wood stock next to it. If you have a wood stove, it's cleaned. It's ready to go. All the doors work. There's no safety problems with it. Make sure your fireplace, wood burning stove, ready to go. Sleep in that room. You'll probably be nice and toasty. What you can also do is get fire brick if you would like to. What you can do is you put that fire brick not in the fireplace, but next to the fire on the wood stove if you have one. Heat up these fire bricks. When they're nice and hot, wrap them up in some rags or towels, older towels, and then put those in the tent, in the bed to warm it up. They're great for transferring heat. Be careful though. Make sure you're wearing proper gloves and other stuff so you don't burn yourself. Don't melt the tent, melt the sleeping bag, anything like that. That's why you got to wrap it in a towel or something so it doesn't get too hot next to things that can melt. But fire bricks is a great thing to heat up, transfer heat around the house. Now we talked about firewood for this fireplace or wood stove. So what do you need with firewood? Lots of it. And it's got to be dry. Make sure it's dried out and it's ready to go. It's not wet, soaked. It's not far away from the house. Make sure it's ready to go, close to the house, in the house, wherever you want to stack it. Make sure you already have it split. And if you haven't split it, if it's cold out, well, go out and split wood. That's going to heat you up really fast. Splitting wood is great exercise. You'll get nice and warm, but make sure your firewood is split and ready to go. You can dress in multiple layers. Make sure you're wearing, not just a shirt and a jeans and a sweatshirt. No, you've got a base layer on, a t-shirt, long sleeve shirt, flannel shirt, coat. You've got 5 or 6 layers on. You can even sleep with all these layers on. You don't want to have too many layers on when you sleep because you don't want to sweat because then you get cold. You have to monitor that, but sleep in multiple layers with a hat or gloves on. It'll keep you warm throughout the day. Move around. That's the other thing. If you're cold and you have layers on, what can you do? Push-ups, jumping jacks, whatever, run in place. All kinds of exercises you can do in there, to move the body. Moving the body will keep you warmer, so keep that in mind. Lastly, generator. If you have a gas generator out there, you fire it up. You have the fuel for it. It's stored safely. You have plenty of fuel to get you through. But if you have it properly hooked up to a transfer switch or wired properly, is it wired to your furnace so you can use your house furnace when it's cold and run it everything if you've got enough propane or natural gas, whatever you're using. But make sure your generator is ready to go. Start it up. Make sure it works. Do it now. Go out there, fill it up, check the oil, do all that good stuff. Make sure it comes on. Make sure it works. Hook it up to that transfer switch. Hook up to the furnace. Make sure it fires it up. Turn the breakers off. Make sure it does everything it's supposed to do. If it's not hooked up to your whole house heater, if you have portable electric heaters, it'll run off those. You can run electric blankets off them. The electric blankets can be used to heat up beds and sleeping bags and tenting areas. I wouldn't sleep with them on. That wouldn't be my suggestion, but do whatever you got to do. So you can do that with, like I said, any gas power generator can run all that stuff. Most of them over 2,000 watts. If you have solar power, solar backup battery packs, those will also run. You probably don't want to run a 1,500 watt electric heater off a solar power backup. It's not going to last that long. You might get an hour or two out of it, and that's not worth it. But you can fire up a electric blanket for a while because there's only 180 watts, 200 watts, enough to heat it up. Solar's not the greatest for heating because it's such a huge power draw, but in a pinch, you can use it. Lastly, protect the house. You want to make sure that your plumbing's not going to freeze, and then when it thaws out, you have major plumbing problems. So Make sure you're dripping the faucet, drip all the faucets, open the cabinet doors so the warmer air can get in there so your pipes don't freeze. The dripping of the faucets, also moving water is a lot harder to freeze than standing water. If you have any water on the outside of your house, make sure you can disconnect all hoses, protect hose bibs. Hopefully you've drained all your landscape water out and blown it out so that doesn't freeze up. But take care of that as well because you don't want problems after the thaw. So that's everything I have. If you have anything else, please add it below in the comment section. What are you doing? Suggestions you have, staying warm, keeping warm, protecting the house. Whatever it is, write it on down below. Share what you've experienced, especially if you were in the cold in Texas a few years ago or you've done something recently. Put those answers down below, and everybody's gonna be able to get through this. You're gonna be warm. You're gonna be safe. Do the stuff now so you don't have to worry about it later. Stay safe, everybody. Stay warm, and until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.